Hi there, thanks for joining us for this edition of Focus Montreal. On today's show, we'll get you all set for next week's C2 Montreal Conference, an event that brings together the biggest names in business with some of the most creative minds in the world. And we'll explain how Angelie Jolie's public discussion of her private decision to fight cancer can have a huge impact right here in Montreal. First, though, he's one of our favorite comedians, and this week, Sugar Sammy did something no other English comic has ever done in this province.
Sugar Sammy!
Yep, that's the boy from Côte-de-Neige, better known as Sugar Sammy, who won the 2 top awards at the French language Olivier Gala last Sunday. Sammy picked up Show of the Year for his En Français, s'il vous plaît, and the very coveted Olivier de l'année. I sat down with Sammy the day after his big win, and he admitted the whole thing was a complete shock to him.
Well, I was very surprised, and I was very, at one point I thought, okay, I just thought I wasn't going to win anything, and I was just going to be there, enjoying the nominations, having a great gala, and I was ready to really have have a great presentation. Yeah. I wanted to do a great stand-up set with my buddy Simon Olivier, and I said, that's all. If I just get to do that and we have fun, because that's what I love doing, is getting up on stage and telling jokes.
You're such a humble guy. And you did do a great thing with Simone of you. I mean, people said it was the best part of the night.
Oh, awesome. So that's all we wanted to do, is just go up there and have fun, and, we had an audience of 1.3 million people watching.
Ah oui, on a tous vu ton film par accident.
So let's deliver a great stand-up set and have a great time up there. So that's all I wanted to do, and then everything else was a bonus. To the point where I was, I didn't really prepare much in terms of speeches. I just said, okay, I'll have a couple of lines ready in case I do win, and then it just happened, and I kind of ad-libbed and had a couple of zingers right there,
It's so funny to me to hear you say you're surprised that you won, because to me it was like a no-brainer. You sold 130,000 plus tickets this past year. It didn't occur to you that maybe people like you at this point? You didn't have a Sally Field moment?
No, I just wasn't sure that it was, because there were so many people in my category who were legends, Quebec legends, they're staples. They're people who Quebec is in love with for years, Louis-José Hood, Lise Dion, Jean-Marc Parent. So all these guys who were, loved for years, and I thought, okay, well, how am I going to compete with that? And probably didn't think that maybe they're dividing the votes up. No, so I guess the Anglo votes did help, And
the Olivier de l'année, I mean, that is the most coveted award, and that is voted on by the viewers as they're watching the show.
That's right. Yeah.
So you, the whole night, no one really has any idea who's going to get it.
No, nobody had an idea, and up until they opened the envelope, I thought it was going to be Louis-José Hood. I even think they had a tape ready, because he was in France, he pre-taped his acceptance speech, and they were ready to roll to it. And I thought, okay, here we go, we're going to go to the screen. And all of a sudden they open the envelope, and I hear my name.
Sugar Sammy!
Okay, think of what are your 2 jokes that you're supposed to say when you go up there? As I'm walking, I'm taking my time going, make sure that you deliver those 2 jokes. And then I was ready to,
See, this is why you're so good. You keep your composure.
Yeah.
And you had a message for the Anglophones. It was so funny.
Yeah, that was my parting joke, as I said. J'ai juste un petit message pour mes amis anglophones qui écoutent ce soir. Guys, I'm in. It's time to take over. And then that's how the night ended.
Je veux juste dire une couple de mots à tous les auditeurs anglophones qui écoutent. Guys, I'm in. Time to take over. Merci. Je vous aime. Merci beaucoup. Merci.
And then the credits start rolling, and everybody's like, did he just say that? Did he just end the French show in English?
That's sort of the magic of Sugar Sammy, though. And I don't want to put pressure on you, but you are now kind of a cultural bridge between our 2 communities. No pressure.
This is a very unstable bridge. Don't rely on me to cross over on the other side.
But you are. I mean, you have crossed over so successfully. And I mean, how did you do this? This guy growing up in Côte-de-Neige and going to school in French, speaking English in the streets.
Yeah.
How did this come about for you?
Just naturally, That's because I grew up, speaking English on the streets and speaking French in school. It was just a part of my DNA to be able to speak both languages and get to know both cultures and see them from different sides and see them in a marginal way, because I even grew up in Côte-de-Neige, which is not the most affluent neighborhood in Montreal, and in Quebec it's probably one of the least. So you get to see a different side of Quebec, and in a lot of ways, and so a lot of it translates really well into comedy.
What's interesting about your comedy, what features predominantly is you're kind of making fun too of the French, and they have a sense of humor about it, of Bill 101 and of the sort of the effect that is Quebec, right, on all of us Anglophones.
Yeah, but I think because I do it in such a lighthearted way, everybody's able to take it. You know, if I was a politician and I'd be saying the things that I say, or you just read them on paper without seeing the tone and, you know, man behind it, it would probably get it would probably not get the same type of response, and as a politician I'd probably get fired pretty quick, you know.
But it kind of shows, at least to me, looking from the outside, that we have to have more of a sense of humor about each other about these things too, right?
I think so. I think it starts there. I think that always helps to kind of alleviate things, in my opinion. I think once you start with that, you know, better discussions can be had in terms of you know, bridging that gap.
You talked about this joke when you said, "I'm in."
Yeah.
I mean, being in for you, though, means also that you've made a lot of new contacts and you've seen the other side and you've made a whole bunch of friends. You've been open to that, right?
Yeah, I've always been open to that. I mean, even traveling the world, you've got to be. You know, you can't just go in and impose your way. You've got to go, okay, well, you know, I want to explore this new culture. I want to get to know this new culture. So I've got to go in and be a student, and got to be open to learning things and absorb and you know, let myself be affected by people and meet people in a way where I've got to open myself up. And you can't just go in closed and go, well, that's you and this is me and this is how things work in my world. You got to try to be understanding. And being a good listener, I think, is very key, you know. And I think that's I think what we need to do, because I think in this province there's, you know, a lot of people are always talking and saying things, but you know, no one listens to each other sometimes. And I think once you start listening to the other person, you kind of figure out what's on their mind and what's eating at them and how you can come to a compromise, you know. A lot of, you know, sometimes when you compromise, you get to a solution way faster than just turning around and saying, I'm not even going to look at this person and not even going to, you know.
You should be a politician. And you are a good bridge. It seems very solid to me. I have no fears about it. So what's next for you?
Continuing the French tour, the bilingual show, we just keep adding them. I mean, the demand's still crazy, so we're up to like 60-something shows. We've added a few more already. Canadian tour next year in 2014, coast to coast, Canada. An Indian tour again. And one of my pet projects that I want to work at is bringing the bilingual show to the rest of the French population in Canada. So all these little French communities in Winnipeg and in Moncton and in Vancouver and Alberta, I definitely want to bring that there, you know. Not just say Quebec's bilingual, but, you know, I think we should all learn 2, 3, 4 languages if we can, because, you know, it could definitely get us further and make us a whole bunch of new friends.
You should get an award for that. Thanks, Sammy. It's
Thank
great to see you.
Thank you.
Such a busy guy. We always appreciate when he stops in to chat with us. And coming up on Focus Montreal, you will not believe who's coming to town next week. Some of the biggest names in the business and art come together for the second edition of C2 Montreal. We'll tee it up after the break.
You're watching Focus Montreal.
It has already earned a reputation from last year's edition as the conference of the year in Montreal. C2 Montreal brings together the biggest names in the business community with some of the top artistic minds in the world. This year's edition features another stellar list of presenters and promises a wildly creative environment designed to spark collaboration and inspire solutions to business challenges. Sounds exciting. And joining me now, the VP Content for C2 Montreal, Nadia Lakhdari. Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
I was asking Nadia, you'll hear her accent off camera. You're a Montrealer with a New Zealand accent.
I am. I'm a French-speaking Francophone Montrealer, but I lived in New Zealand for a very long time, and I learned English there, so it developed a bit of a funny twang that's a mixed
It's so cool.
Mixed Quebecois and Kiwi is very unique.
We like that. This is a great job. You get to program content for this incredible event. And tell me some of the big name that's coming this year is...
This year, of course, we have Sir Richard Branson coming, which is absolutely fantastic for us. We're very excited to have him. We have French designer Philippe Starck, who's very iconic in his field. We have Blake Mykowski, who was the founder of Tom's Shoes. John McKay, who founded Whole Foods, the supermarket chain. We have some very fascinating people. Diane von Furstenberg, the fashion designer, Bobby Brown, makeup and cosmetics, Neri Oxman from the MIT Media Lab, and the list just goes on. BMW, Boeing, GE. I can't name them all in one
Our director
breath.
can't even come up with the visuals because they really are the huge names. And this is the second year of this.
It's our second edition only, so it's actually quite exciting to be doing so much. Like, we keep feeling like, wow, we're punching above our weight, but it's quite fantastic.
And the people you bring here, I mean, that is so motivating for Montrealers, but it's also the style of the conference is really unique as well. You create an environment, right?
Exactly.
Explain
We
that.
create a very immersive environment because our topic is on creativity and commerce, and we feel that you can't just talk about creativity rationally. You have to experience it and put people in these surroundings. So we create an environment with exhibits, with a lot of networking activities, with workshops, with boot camps, where people can get inspiration from these fantastic speakers, but then they can turn around and experiment with ideas and actually get their hands dirty and do things and create and have ideas.
This is all happening down in Griffintown,
Griffintown
Montreal?
at the Arsenal, yes, a contemporary art gallery.
And the people behind this are the Cirque du Soleil people, right?
Cirque du Soleil is our founding partner. There's also Sid Lee, the creative agency, who was behind it. And it's really an amazing coalition of both public, private partners here. Tourism Montreal was behind us from the beginning, the Bronfman family. You look at our board of directors, it's like a who's who of major Quebec companies. So it's been fantastic to see all these people coming together to do something for Montreal and to put Montreal on the map worldwide as a capital of creativity and innovation.
I was asking you off camera, how do you get a job like yours where you go around booking Richard Branson and all these incredible people?
Yeah, it's
Blake
actually quite
Mykowski?
fun and exciting. It's funny because C2 represents commerce and creativity, and I've really had those two aspects as well. I did law at McGill, and I used to work in New York City for one of the big law firms doing aerospace and banking and financing, so very much in the corporate world, and then left all that to travel, spent time in New Zealand, and I'm also a novelist and an author, and I write books, so I've got that creative side and that commercial side that both are extremely happy. It's like this job was created for me.
Oh, it's fantastic. So this is all happening next week. It's 3 days.
Yes.
And tell me the dates and what's going to happen.
May 21st to 23rd.
Okay.
We still have, just about sold out, but we still have a few tickets left, and we're also going to be selling for next year. They're all going very fast, so if people are interested, they can visit our website.
You've already started planning next year.
Yes, we are. We're actually hoping to announce a very huge headliner at this next week. We're just finalizing negotiations now to get people excited for 2014, and we've got people from over 25 countries coming to Montreal, so we want to make sure they keep coming every year, they keep discovering the best of what we do in the city, and the sky's the limit.
It's an amazing experience for the people who come from out of town too, because you have this interesting little concierge service,
yes,
right?
we
Explain
do.
what that is. It's fun.
Every participant has a concierge, and our concierge are amazing. They're all volunteers. They're all Montrealers. They tend to be in their mid to late 20s. A lot of management students, people from HSC or McGill, really interested in the business world. So they have a one-on-one relationship with a participant, where they do a diagnostic of what are you trying to achieve at C2 MTL. So someone might say, oh, I'm in the multimedia industry, I want to meet such and such, and they'll arrange meetings for you. They'll make sure you're booked into the right workshops. They'll make sure you don't miss out on anything that you need to get the most out of the experience.
And even evening events, there's all kinds of networking at night.
Yes,
and
there's a lot of
going on.
festivities as well. We just feel it takes the networking to another level, because it's one thing to meet someone in a business environment, and then it's another thing to say, let's have coffee, let's have a drink, spend time in the evenings. So it's all focused on the connections.
Very cool. It's a very interesting event. I look forward to meeting some of the people coming next week. Thanks,
Great.
Nadia.
Thanks so much.
Nadia Lakhdari is the VP Content of C2 Montreal. For more information and to get those few tickets left, you can go online on their website, C2 Montreal. What is the website again?
C2MTL.com. Yes.
And also, we're going to have a live blogger down there. So if you can't get down to the conference or don't get those last few tickets, you can follow the whole thing on our website at globalnews.ca/Montreal. And that is it for this segment of Focus Montreal. Coming up right after the break, we're going to find out why Angelie Jolie's decision to fight breast cancer preventively is having a huge impact right here at home. Stay with us. Well, it was a deeply personal disclosure done so publicly and by such a huge celebrity that it stunned everyone who read it. Angelie Jolie, the 37-year-old actress and activist, revealed in an op-ed piece in the New York Times this week that she's had a double mastectomy. In a moment, we'll speak to a Montreal woman who has been right where Jolie is. But first, here's Global's Eric Sorensen with the flood of reaction Jolie's story created this week.
It'd be brave for anyone to declare in the New York Times, "I made the decision to have a preventive double mastectomy." For Angelie Jolie to do so required uncommon courage. She comes from a red carpet world where undue importance is placed on image and glamour. She could have kept it private, but instead told the world she's had both her breasts removed.
I think it's going to make a worldwide impact and certainly raise the consciousness of breast cancer.
Doctors say a faulty gene increased Jolie's chances of breast cancer to 87%. Reconstructive surgery largely retained her appearance and cut the cancer odds to 5%. Her own mother had died of cancer at the age of just 56.
I will never be as good a mother as she was. I will try my best.
Jolie's mother may have inspired her both to take action and to go public with it.
She was the most generous, loving. She's better than me.
Jolie says she wants her 6 children to count on having their mother around for longer than she did. Her partner, Brad Pitt, has been by her side through all of it.
Thank you for being so brave.
Jolie's decision instantly brought media attention. A Miss America contestant says she will have a mastectomy after the competition.
It is taking away that fear of having to look over your shoulder for the rest of your life.
Well, it's always daunting to see it.
Jolie's name and fame have brought awareness to humanitarian causes around the world. This will also inspire others.
You know, your breasts and your hair and everything, they define you as a woman. But between life and your boobs, what would you really choose?
Some doctors caution against a rush by women to get mastectomies who may not need them.
There's also a more conservative approach where women are screened every 6 months.
But for those who may have the genetic marker, a Hollywood beauty is helping dispel the fears about a disfiguring cancer. Life comes with many challenges, Jolie writes. The ones that should not scare us are the ones we can take on and take control of. Eric Sorensen, Global News, Washington.
Well, joining me now, the woman behind Montreal's Hereditary Breast Ovarian Cancer Foundation, Joanne Miller. Hi, Eisman. Thanks so much for coming in, Joanne.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Tell me about your reaction. I mean, Eric mentioned there are a lot of people calling Angelie Jolie a hero. What was your reaction when you heard this story this week?
She's definitely a hero. I mean, she did something very private and has chosen to tell the public so that she could help others and hopefully, you know, make a difference in other people's lives and other people's decisions. And you know, it's incredible.
You have said you were exactly in Angelina's shoes. You've been there, right?
Yeah, I've been there. About 10 years ago, I had to make the same decision, and I was faced with the exact diagnosis with having the BRCA gene mutation. And, you know, I just read an article that Angelie Jolie wrote online, and I felt exactly the same way that she did, that I wanted to do this to know that I would be there for my children and to decrease the odds drastically of getting breast and ovarian cancer. And
you were 34 years old at the time. You had 2 children. Had you lost your sister at that point to breast cancer, or she had breast cancer?
She had breast cancer. When my sister found out she had breast cancer, she got tested quite quickly for the gene. And, you know, her prognosis was fine at the time. And I decided very quickly, like, to me, it was a very easy decision. It was obvious to me that I needed to know, and I had to get tested. And if it was positive, I would do the surgeries, and that would be fine because, you know, I had to do whatever I had to do to make sure that I wouldn't get cancer.
Let's talk about your sister Marla for a minute. She died of breast cancer at 41. That cemented your conviction, obviously, in what you had done and set you on this fundraising course, didn't it?
Yeah. When my sister was alive and had breast cancer, we discussed very early on, when we found out that we both carried the gene, that we had to do something. We had to make sure that there would be better options for our children. We had to spread the word so that other people would learn from what happened to us and hopefully know that they had BRCA in their family, if that was the case, and be able to do something with the information. So we discussed it a little bit that, you know, we'll do something, you know, when we're past this stage, we'll start up a charity or we'll try and do something. But unfortunately, Marla got sick very quickly and died a couple of months later. But my husband and I and my parents, we said we have to continue with this and we have to tell others, because we were sure that if Marla had known about the gene, that she would still be here today.
So you knew about the gene, you took the Angelina decision, you had the double mastectomy, and then you had a third child after that.
Yes.
That's a huge step too, right?
It was a big thing. We always felt that we wanted to have 3 children, and definitely this was a bit of a setback for us. The decision to have the double mastectomy, I decided right away. Like I said, I knew before I got tested for the gene, and I had the surgery quite quickly after I found out I had the gene. And my gynecologist told me that I could wait to decide if I wanted to have a third child. And as long as I made the decision and had the oophorectomy before I was 40, that was the time she gave me, then I could wait and not do the oophorectomy. But as soon as I had decided whether we'd have a third child or not, that I should get it done. And we looked into it and we asked the doctors and the geneticists whether it was safe to have a third child and would it make a difference, you know, hormonally in my body? Would it increase my chances of breast cancer even though I had had a mastectomy? And he said it was fine, and thankfully we have a third child.
You are an inspiration. I want to tell you, people are saying Angelina Jolie is an inspiration, and sure, she's a public inspiration and she's, you know, famous, but you are an inspiration for what you've gone through. And you're a big fundraiser. So let's talk, we have a little bit of time left, but let's talk about HBOC and what that does.
Yeah, so we started up HBOC. We actually just had our 10th anniversary gala this week, the night before Angelina's big reveal. Yeah, so we've been fundraising for 10 years. We've raised close to $2 million.
Amazing.
And what we do with the money, we have 3 areas that we focus on. One is awareness. So Angelina Jolie really helped us out in that area.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I said, we wanted people to know about the gene and to look into their family histories, because we believe that knowing your family history will save lives.
Thank you so much. We have to cut you off right there, but we're going to tell people to go to the website at hboc.ca. That's Joanne Miller-Eisman, who is our Montreal Angelina Jolie. Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you.
That is Focus Montreal for this week. Join us again next week when we meet more Montrealers making a difference. Take care, everyone. Good night. We have about 5